Your show, my man, your show. We're live. Well, you lead the way. You tell me what's up. Oh, hold on. Tyson's an idiot. Maybe if I unmuted your audio now, you can start your intro. Good evening.
Oh, maybe. Well, this is Gilles TV here, live streaming the play-by-play of Toronto and Calgary on your screen with all the Oilers stuff. That's Yak, aka Dolynny TV. Welcome in. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I mean, Toronto and Calgary. Could it get any worse for an Oilers fan? Both of us are just going
No
to spend
doubt.
this evening laughing at this one because, I mean, both teams we can't stand as Oilers fans. So, be interesting to see what we can get ourselves into tonight.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to start out with is what is going on in Calgary with the goaltending situation?
And you think Jack Campbell has issues. That's been my favorite thing, right? The Flames started 4-1. That's the thing about this. The Flames started 4-1, and since then have more or less fallen off a cliff, due in large part to Jacob Markstrom. So make of that what you will, I guess. But it is what it is at the end of the day for Flames fans, and I guess they're probably hoping their goalie at some point rebounds. But so are a lot of teams' goaltenders. Maybe in particular Elvis Merzlikins, who just absolutely stonewalled Calgary all night last night.
Yeah, and Calgary played last night. Markstrom giving up the first shot of the game and is leading the NHL. And we know something about that with Mikko Koskinen. So we know how Calgary fans are going, probably pulling their hair out every time the first shot goes on Markstrom.
Well, and that's just the pain, right? When you can't predict what's going to happen with if you're going to give up a goal or not on the first shot of the game, you're kind of on pins and needles. And I think that's what Oilers fans saw out of the team for the past 2 years prior to this season is every single first shot of the game you were holding your breath, especially if it went glove side. And now with Markstrom, I don't really know where the weaknesses are because I would be lying to you if I said I watched Calgary Flames games. However, right? When you lead the league 6 times in the season so far, and we're only less than 30 games into the season, and you've started more than half those games, that's a tough look for Jacob Markstrom.
Well, and Daryl Sutter came into this season and said Dan Vladar is going to get one game a week. Well, with the struggles of Markstrom, where I was actually talking with a couple other people about this last night, the 6 of the top 10 goalies in the NHL have a lower save percentage than 900.
Yep.
It's the backups and the rookies getting it done for a lot of teams. And, Vladar, of course, he's not young, but he was only here to be a backup.
Yep. Signed to that extension to be that steady Eddie guy behind that Jacob Markstrom, and now all of a sudden he's finding himself having to play a starring role on this team just because the team's not getting the goaltending they're used to out of Jacob Markstrom.
Well, exactly. And on the other side, Toronto, injuries to both Murray and Samsonov. Murray's back 6-1-2. A lot of people were saying, don't give up on Jack Campbell. Why are you going after Matt Murray after the whole
Mm-hmm.
shenanigan in Ottawa? He has turned things around. Is it maybe the defensive players for Toronto is better than what Ottawa had in front of him?
I think for Matt Murray, it's just simply that he doesn't have nagging injuries. I think that was the problem in Ottawa, is even when healthy, he was still injured. And now in Toronto, despite being injured, he is back fully healthy and ready to try and make a difference for this Leafs team. And two, right, the other side too, we can't pretend that the Leafs don't have a strong powered offense, right? You talk about putting Matt Murray on in net for a bottom tier team. I don't think he's doing quite as well. And again, that would be to also say that I don't think the Leafs defense is world beaters yet, but I think too the Leafs defense has played enough of an important role for him to get some saves, and he's been making saves too. And that's good to see, but again, the problem with Murray is just that health situation, and if he tweaks something, how much it affects his game the rest of the season.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably a workload management. What we saw in the NBA with Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors, workload, slim it down this year. There's still years left on his contract. Get it going. Now let's go back to Calgary for a second here. They had that major trade, Kachuk going to Florida, getting Mackenzie Weegar and Huberdeau back. Goudreau goes somewhere else. Kadri comes in. Well, Goudreau's over a point per game playing for Columbus. Kachuk's doing pretty well over in Florida. What's happened to Huberdeau?
I mean, for the Flames, right? It's just one of those things of I don't think the whole team. You can talk about Jacob Markstrom not showing up, but the whole team hasn't lived up to expectations. But that's the story of the season in Alberta too, right? It's not just necessarily, I guess you could say, in Calgary. I think it's a little bit in Edmonton as well. The expectations have not been met from either team, right? These two would have been picked to be top of the Pacific, and at this point they're both below second place. So that's a tough situation now for both teams. And I think for the Flames is just a matter of same thing with the Oilers, is building that consistency game to game. And I guess tonight against the Leafs, no better time to really do that, I guess you could say.
Well, and they did lose two guys who were keen to their offense.
Three.
Huberdeau is a great
Three. Sean Monahan.
three. Yeah, truth. Sean Monahan. Kadri came in. He leads the team in goals with 10, but they're not getting the goal scoring. And last night, after Uyghur coughed up that puck on a cross D-to-D play and Columbus scored, he blamed himself. It's a lot of guys blaming their own selves. And
Yeah.
I just don't think the locker room is there right now.
Well, you know what? We're just about to see what happens as the puck's just about to drop here, at least on my television screen. But I think tonight, ideal situation for me is both goalies get lit the F up, and the Flames lose like 7-6. Ideally, that's what I'm looking for. So
Crash Tester, can you say hi, please? Hi, Crash Tester.
we're just getting in, and that's the thing too. If I guess we haven't mentioned, if anyone has a question for us in the chat, definitely throw it our way. So that'd be great to have a little bit of interactivity with the stream. If you've been into Dolynny TV streams, you know they're run a little bit differently. But tonight, just a relaxed Saturday night, starting at 5 o'clock and seeing what happens. And these Leafs are buzzing in the Flame zone to start.
And that's the thing is, Calgary played last night. We are doing a live stream over on Clem Hawks with Minnesota, who played last night. Yeah, you got Dan Villar that is, ready to go, but is the rest of the team?
That's going to be the interesting point here for the Flames tonight, trying to get that going, because for them, right, the Leafs are down a couple of players, and I guess too they are on back-to-back as the Flames. So you got a couple of situations kind of coming into play here for both teams, but realistically, this first little bit, the Flames haven't had their stuff yet, and this one's going to go up and out of play. But for the Leafs, maybe, hopefully, something they can capitalize on in the first period, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, for the Leafs, one thing I've always kind of said, and I'm going to probably get hate from Leaf fans for this, is Marner was the driving force for Matthew's success last year. And look what Mitch Marner is doing this year. Sets a consecutive point streak record for the Maple Leafs. Can he extend that tonight?
Well, that's been the question now for like 16 games, but problem is too, I think both teams just have to not get trapped in that feeling out process. For the Flames, I think it's more of a stay above water process, but for the Leafs, they have to just go pounding in on the Flames, and that's exactly what they appear to be doing here. They've had a couple multiple drives to the net, multiple chances in front to get a pass across. So in the first 2 minutes of this period, with 18 minutes to go, I think the Leafs are kind of controlling things out there to a good enough degree that things should be all right tonight for them.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful chance by the Leafs, and there was a missed stretch pass right there. You'll see that.
Yeah.
I'm a bit ahead of you. And the Leafs are going at the Flames right now, and I want to see the Flames with more urgency. Last night I was actually watching Sports Center. It showed Tyler Toffoli missing a pretty good, decent shot attempt. Missed the net. He goes to the bench. He snaps his stick into like three pieces.
Yeah.
I like there is a lot of emotion on this Calgary team right now because they're, like you said, both Albertan teams said they want to be top of the Pacific, and Calgary's going on a downward hill. Edmonton, of course, is picking up as of late. But how much of the blame is on Markstrom for that?
Well, I mean, problem is, if you're gonna blame your goaltender for everything, then you gotta also look elsewhere because your goaltender is never going to be 100% sink or ride. There's always other facets of your game that influence what you're seeing as the overall results. So for the Flames, I think the big thing is if they've let frustration creep in, then tonight's going to get ugly very quick against a Leafs team that capitalizes on that over the past 5 years. But at the same rate, too, if the Flames are tired, it could be an easy capitalization for the Leafs this evening, too. So, like I said, I think it's a tread water, hold your own in the first period, and then see what happens once your legs are into it in the second and third if you're the Flames. But that too, they're also got two AHL regulars in the lineup. I know fans have been yelling for Matthew Phillips the entire season, and now he's finally in the lineup. They also got to remember Radim Zahorna is also in the lineup tonight, so they're two AHL regulars so far this year now in the lineup in the bottom six for the Calgary Flames.
And we just had a breakaway, and there is a hold, and they're gonna give it as a 2-minute minor to Calgary. Great opportunity by Toronto there. I believe that was Joey Anderson, the newly
Yeah.
called up Joey Anderson.
And then he absolutely whales himself into the boards too on that play, so that's a rough go. He thinks he has a good breakaway and then absolutely dives into the boards trying to follow it up, picking a toe. So, I think for Joey Anderson in the Leafs power play now, all
That
of a
was
sudden,
Bunting, sorry.
Bunting, sorry, Michael Bunting,
Yeah.
okay. But I think for the Leafs power play, it's just now blood's in the water, right? Go out there, crush it, score the goal, and put the Flames down early. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. If we have it our way, is the Leafs are going to get up high in this game in this first period. And I think honestly, the Flames go down 2-0 in this first period. They are done. They're not coming
Yeah.
back. I don't think they get their skating legs in the second and find a way back in. I think they're just done. And the Leafs power play not that great, 13th in the league this year, but still at 23.6%. So you're talking about converting 1 in 4 roughly for the Leafs.
Yeah, for sure. And Robert, welcome in. And there's a lot of pressure on this Leafs team too. Is it seems year after year, their Matthews gets a shot blocked. Year after year, they perform better than the previous year. They just can't get past that first round.
Well,
Do you?
I don't think I really want to talk about that yet because I'd rather talk about that once we start seeing playoff hockey because again, it's an old tired trope. It's something that's always brought up year after year after year just to kind of bash on this Leafs team. And at this point, it's just kind of put up or shut up time. And until you get there, there's no point in talking about it. Would be my take. I don't mean to shut you down, but it's
No, it was just, oh, here comes Coleman on a breakaway, saved by Murray on the penalty to kill.
I
No, it was leading to. So Toronto over the past years have made that and a nice snipe by Austin Matthews, glove side. It is 1-0 here for Toronto on the power play. That was a nice shot.
I'm just seeing the Coleman breakaway right now, and that's
Well,
a good save by Matt Murray to fight it off. But one of those, the penalty kill so far for the Flames prior to this goal has been 13 for 13 over the last three. But then, good night, you leave Austin Matthews open in the middle of the ice like that. Shot number 4 goes back of the net, and yeah, not that successful for the Calgary Flames on that one.
no, that was a really good pass by Nylander. He baited both guys on the right side to him, leaving Matthews with some room there in the slot.
All right, well, let me get a scoreboard up for us. Why don't we do that, eh?
Sounds good. No, but going to that, it was leading to this is the Maple Leafs always make that minor trade accusation at the deadline to help their team. Last year or 2 years ago was Giordano, which is a huge help to the Toronto Maple Leafs defense at the time. Do you see them making a bigger splash to help the likes of Marner, Nylander, that whole left side of your top two lines. Yes, you got Bunting. Yes, you got Kerfoot. But is there something you can, and Robertson, of course, too. Is there a player out there that can help that left side of their top two lines?
At this point, no, because those kind of players don't come available this time of year, right? It's at the trade deadline that you got to find that, and you don't. It's I guess it's the same answer I'd give you as well. The Flames going back to the penalty kill here, but it's the same answer I'd give you as opposed to the first round exit thing. Is it's not that time to have that discussion yet because for the Leafs, they're not going to be in a world of hurt until playoff time for that offense. So there's no reason to spend the assets until the trade deadline. And until they get to the trade deadline, obviously you won't know who's available, who's out of the playoffs, who's in the playoffs, who thinks they can make it, and who thinks they're not going to make it. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think you can start picking names out of a hat. As I know well, if you pick names out of a hat, all you're going to get is hate from the comments section simply because it's a flawed exercise in, well, I think this. Well, you know what opinions are like. We all have one, and
You can't say the other half of
I
that.
can't say the other half of that, but that's the tough part, right? And what the Leafs need here in December is not what the Leafs are going to need at the trade deadline. What the Leafs need at the trade deadline is not going to be what the Leafs need going into Game 7 of the first round and beyond,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
As
That's
Tavares gets robbed there, sorry. What about the emergence of Sandine on this blue line?
don't know anything about it.
No?
As much as
Okay.
I pay attention to the Oilers, I don't really have enough time in my day to go watch a whole bunch of other NHL stuff. I obviously am not up late enough to be watching Sportsnet, Sports Center after every single game. So I honestly don't look at stats realistically team by team. So it's a kind of patchwork of how crappy my actual knowledge is, but it's one of those things, right? Is obviously for the Leafs, if they're winning, it means something. But outside of that, I couldn't tell you.
Well, that was a pretty good penalty kill by Calgary. There was a one pretty good chance there by Tavares in the slot. Oh, and almost a turnover in front of their own net for Toronto as Simmons and Anderson are out there right now. It's kind of hard to see who's who.
Well, I mean, you just have to listen to the play-by-play, get a feel for the numbers, and away you go. It's something that comes with time for sure, and watching the teams too. That was a dangerous giveaway in front of the net. But yeah, here's the thing, right? What did I say? If the Leafs go up 2-0, this game's going to be over here in the first period. And now the Leafs 5-1 in the shot department so far. They're up 1-0. It's trending that way, and I mean, I don't really see the Flames having that much life that they're going to be able to change this game all too much by the end of the final score. So I don't know.
No, but we did do a game on Clemhawks, Calgary and LA. And one of the things we kept saying Calgary really needed to do was win the forecheck battles. Just play the simple hockey game, dump and chase, go back to basics. And, just watching the first 10 or 9 minutes of this game, they're not really doing that.
Well, I mean,
They're getting flat footed, they're getting beat.
that's part and parcel for being down and out right now, right? The Flames not necessarily playing their best hockey right now, and when things kind of fall apart at the seams game by game, if it gets worse, every single loss racks up, things tend to get
Oh,
sloppier and sloppier and sloppier. So,
and there's another penalty on Calgary. Cross check into the back of Matthews. Gave him a couple extras, and Simmons came back and, you know, tried to fight Zadorov there.
this is, oh, yeah, right there.
But,
That's
like, the third penalty in the first 9 minutes, like, if you're Sutter, do you take a timeout and just calm the guys down? Like,
well, and I mean, the penalties have just been absolutely, I guess to a degree, silly would be the thing, right? Like, Zadorov doesn't need to cross check Matthews there to bump him off the puck. Like, a simple shoulder nudge would have done it. Instead, he goes two-hander to the numbers. and gives up a penalty call against. And I mean, there was a boarding or something to the back of the numbers along the boards. And the first one is a hold, a necessary hold, but at the same rate, too, the Flames really, either way, you were giving up a goal on that power play. So why wouldn't you have just allowed the shot and seen what happens? I get it, you chance it on the penalty kill and see what happens, but the Flames not putting themselves in a position to win, I guess what I'm trying to say overall.
Yeah. And that's been kind of what I've seen over LA because, I watch Sports Center and they've just not been playing their game. Like they started 4-1, but Markstrom and some of these guys have not been themselves since pretty much the deadline of last season.
I was gonna say if you said the Oilers series, you'd be dead wrong because this is kind of started going back, like you said, around the deadline time. When the Flames just simply have not been playing good hockey. Markstrom kind of fell off a cliff there sometime in February and just has never really recovered. And for the rest of the Flames guys too, it's just they play really good one night and then they take a couple off and then they play really good again. So one of those battles for them that they got to try and figure out that consistency thing. But like I said, that's not just true of the Calgary Flames right now. There's a couple teams, namely the Oilers, going through that as well. So you got to believe
And
that something's got to happen there.
you got to try and be disciplined too. Like, I'm going to go to a different sport here while we wait for the puck drop. I'm a Rough Riders fan. They were the most or undisciplined team in the CFL this year, and that cost them games. It's the same in any sport. If you're undisciplined, you go against a power play like Toronto's, who arguably is top 10 in the league because of the firepower and players they have on that first top unit.
Yep.
You're playing with fire.
Well, and that's here in the problem. Oh, Simmons apparently got a roughing call too. So are we skating 4-4? Looks like it.
Oh, we are 4-on-4, yeah.
And that's a dumb penalty that didn't need to be taken by Simmons. I mean, you know what? You have a cross check on Matthews, and he's already scored a power play goal. I don't see why it would not be good punishment for the Flames to go out there and score a second goal. I know Simmons' role is to protect Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and William Nylander, but that's one of those you pick and choose your battles, right? If Zadorov would have crunched him on the ice after knocking him down, sure, but I don't know if that's
I'm
really
going to stop
defendable.
you there as Huberto with a nice pass to Noah Hannafin. He buries it. It is 1-1.
There you go, eh? Right? So now maybe the Flames have some life and maybe the legs are working now. And this one just, oof, that was a lazy play by Matthews, just kind of spinning off that puck and losing it in the middle. And excuse me, what a crisscross. Sorry, that's tic tac toe from Lindholm to Huberto to Hannafin on that goal. Good little zigzag around the zone by the Flames, and that's a 4-on-4 goal that makes it 1-1.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play by Calgary. But like you said, that spinorama, whatever Matthews was doing there, was unnecessary.
It's a lazy
Trying to do too much.
lazy button hook in the top of the zone, and unfortunately 4-on-4 that's not necessarily a good idea. And the Flames had some pretty good attackers on the ice, and of course, like the thing with Hannafin, and here's what I said about that Dougie Hamilton trade way back in the day: is the Flames won that trade that day. Like there was no doubt about it. The Flames won that trade, despite everybody claiming that Hamilton was going to be this world beater defenseman for Carolina, and to a point he was. But you look at the players that they got in Hannafin and in Hannafin and Lindholm. I'm sorry, Flames won that all day. I think Adam Fox also went to Carolina in that deal, but Adam
Yeah.
Fox is a whole nother chapter in Carolina history, so that needs not discussing. That trade was won by Calgary that day, no doubt about it. Because I mean, you can say what Carolina got out of Adam Fox, but Calgary wasn't going to get anything out of Adam Fox. So the fact that they moved on and got two very skilled players out of it, one backender to replace Dougie Hamilton and one top line forward, that's one that maybe Carolina would like to have back over this past few years.
Yeah, for sure. And, with trades too, with guys like that, you never know. Because Hannafin was still, I believe, 22 at that time, 21. they knew kind of what he had, but there wasn't enough there to make them say, "Hey, no, hold on, let's not do this trade," because they didn't give him time to show them what he had. And like you said, Adam Fox is just a whole nother story, and he's emerged as one of the best defensemen for the Rangers. But Calgary did a really good trade there, and a lot of people said, "Well, Lindholm won't amount to anything," and Lindholm has stepped up it since coming to Calgary.
I'm sorry, I was the first guy on the story. I said Lindholm will hit 70 points this season, and I mean the first year he was with Calgary. A lot of the comments on Dolynny TV on that video told me I was absolutely off my rocker. You know where those comments are now? They don't exist. People deleted them because they were embarrassed by the fact that some crank on YouTube told them what's up with Lindholm. That's some Oilers fan told them that Lindholm was going to score 70 points for the Flames. But it's silly. It's a fool's errand to actually gauge a trade in real time. But it didn't take very long for Flames fans or anyone in the NHL to realize that the Flames won that trade short term, long term, and medium term has been pretty good so far too. So, I mean, not that Dougie Hamilton didn't have a good few years in Carolina, but I mean, there's a reason he's not still there, right?
all of that. And, at the time, Calgary didn't know what they had in Adam Fox either. And they got pretty good deal out of it. And you look at the two guys they primarily traded to Carolina. Well, Hamilton's in New Jersey now. Fox is with the Rangers, with the two guys that Carolina sent over still with Calgary.
And I think Michael Furland went in that trade, didn't he? Too? I think he was part of that deal as well, if I'm not mistaken.
And he wound up in Vancouver for the longest time.
Yeah. Either way,
Holy.
craziness,
You
folks.
see,
Yeah, sorry, what?
you see Phillips, he's 5'7", 140 pounds only.
Yeah, he's a small little guy. I don't think we've mentioned this, but folks, if you're enjoying the stream so far, be so kind to subscribe to this Gilles TV guy. He's half decent and trying to get something out of YouTube here and make a little something something on the side. So if you'd be so kind to subscribe to him and help him out with his YouTube journey, that'd be great. See, I'm telling you, I'm helping you out right here, right now, doing it for you.
There you go.
But yeah, we're just settling into this Leafs and Flames game, and I think half a period through, the shots are 5-3. It's a 1-1 score, and it's a ton to talk about. And they're fixing the pegs on the ice as we speak, so that's interesting there too. That ended up popping off at some point, but yeah, I really don't know what to make of this game so far, simply because we're early on, and I thought the Flames were going to sleepwalk through and get beat up, and now suddenly it's 1-1 after Simmons took an absolutely dumb penalty, right? Think about that. This game could have been 2-0, and instead it is 1-1 because the Flames were able to play 4-on-4. And,
Well, it
yeah.
was the dumb penalty, but also it's everything that happened after. Matthews with a ugly turnover in just inside the Calgary zone. And on the Hannafin goal, it was Matthews on Hannafin, and he just gave him the room to walk in.
Yeah.
I get that's the problem when you got a forward playing back on a 4-on-4.
Well,
And
and
we
the
see it a
D-man
lot.
coming down the wing too, right?
Yeah, and we see it a lot when it's overtime and stuff with teams forwards trying to play defense, and that's why a lot of goals get scored within the first minute and a half in overtime.
Sorry to
Whereas
keep
the
yawning. I'm very tired tonight. It's been a long week.
all good, I'm tired too, and we still got one more game after this one to go.
Well, we'll see if old Clemmy Hawk there can figure it out on his side so that I don't have to do all the work. But
Yeah, exactly.
8:55 to go in this first period. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the full game, but we'll find out. I do got to eat here at some point, so I might have to leave you for 5-10 minutes on your own to recap the first intermission, but we'll get her
I'll
sorted.
have to go get some food too.
We'll just put the stream on pause. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, like I think I definitely expected a little bit more firepower from the Leafs to start this game, but not necessarily because the Leafs were gonna take the boots to Calgary. I more or less mean the fact that Calgary was just going to sleepwalk so badly through it that all the Leafs had to do was put in a minimum effort and it was going to be good enough kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a fair assessment with how Calgary's been playing of late. But they have, after a dumb penalty by Simmons, they've tied it up and it's a brand new game again.
And I mean, the
1
Leafs,
1 is the exact same score as 0-0.
well, and that's just it, right? So for the Leafs, I think the big thing is they have to keep coming at it, but now all of a sudden maybe the Flames sparked up here in this first period ready to go after playing last night. I don't know. That could be a dangerous thing for the Leafs to get through. I don't know when the Leafs last played, but it's maybe not a recipe for success if you're the Leafs. But the one thing that really impresses me is just how strong on his blades Michael Bunting is. I mean, I watch 2 or 3 Leafs games a month just waiting for the Oilers games to start on a Saturday night. And Michael Bunting there is just, even in this game, just that last sequence, strong on his skates, doesn't get knocked down easily, doesn't get knocked out of position easily, and keeps creating opportunity for other players just because he's standing in place holding up traffic more or less, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that was a. Oh, and Kadri buries a 1T.
Oh, we're
Sorry, I was.
we're still in the flame zone here.
Sorry. But Dubé and Mangiapane on a 2-on-1. The pass jumps over Dubé's stick and puck winds up on Kadri's stick, and Calgary's up 2-1 here.
Way back. Oof, what a
That was a
shot there from Kadri.
beautiful shot.
Yeah, that's how you score goals in the NHL. I guess you could say that's without a doubt. And I did
I'm
not
pretty
realize.
sure we saw kind of a similar shot, but a 1T against Arizona a few nights ago from the exact same spot.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. But this one just like this. Here's the thing, though. This one, Dubé just with the wherewithal to stay in it and then just skating right. Here's what Kadri did there. He skated right through that puck. Like he had heads up. He was going to shoot it the whole way, and he just kept his stride going and just let it go in a natural rhythm and scores that goal no problem. So, I mean, for the Flames now, here I'm talking about the Leafs having 2 goals in the first period. The Flames now have a 2-1 lead, and they're a first period team based on things. They're third in the NHL in first period goals so far this year. We got 7 minutes to go, and Mitch Marner's wondering what the heck went wrong on that last defensive assignment.
Well, that and hockey's one of those funny games where it's one good chance at the other end where Toronto was pinning Calgary into their zone for what 30 seconds or so, got a couple good chances, and it turns the other way and it's a missed assignment. It's back of the net. It's just how the NHL has been going this year.
Well, I mean, you could go back to the days of Drew Remenda calling Edmonton Oilers games. It's been like that forever. It used to be just the bad teams would kind of struggle with that, but now with the speed of the game and how things have opened up defensively and offensively over the past few years, I think the big thing too is the change in the goalie equipment has allowed for that to become more of a sequence of operations in the NHL. Just simply smaller goalie gear has kind of allowed pucks to kind of hit funny bounces and trickle through a little bit more. And I think when you see goalies a little bit under duress, that seems to show up a little bit more than maybe in years previous.
Oh, exactly. And that's one thing TSN was talking about last night is how the game has changed over the years too, with the NHL almost seeing they want to go back to that 80s style of hockey, lots of goals scored. And that could be why some of the goalies are having troubles, is because the equipment, just how the game's played nowadays.
Well, and the thing too is for the NHL, it's you want the goals because that's what people show up for, right? When there was low scoring, low event hockey going on in the late 90s, early 2000s, people were showing up for big body checks, fights, and emotion in the game. That's what it was about because it was 2-1 most nights. You'd have 3 fights because something got out of hand, and it was just a tough guys league where you scratched and clawed for every single thing you got. And then you have Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin arrive on the scene, and the game starts changing on a dime year after year after year. The NHL obviously starts battling the CTE issue, and fighting starts decreasing through active measures. And right, it's one of those things for the Oilers. All of a sudden, yeah, end of the day, or not for the Oilers, the NHL, pardon me, is they just changed the game through force, but also naturally evolving it back to what it used to be because of simply needing to have an exciting brand of hockey to watch.
Yeah. Is it okay if I leave you for a few seconds?
Yeah,
I have to go deal with Amelia
yep,
quickly.
okay.
I'll be right back.
That's, I guess, to expand on that thought for those of you still watching the stream, is just one of those things, right? The NHL evolves over time and kind of everything goes in waves, right? There was a time in the NHL history where you couldn't even raise the puck. So the fact there of that is a matter of, I mean, the game's always going to be constantly evolving, constantly changing, constantly becoming something different. And now, in terms of that 80s scoring coming back, it's not the 80s style of game, it's the 80s scoring coming back. And I think that really opens up a different kind of NHL, although night to night, the consistency isn't quite there in terms of a good look on the NHL as of yet, right? If you want it to be a score fest, let it be a score fest. And if you don't want it to be a score fest, figure it out. And that's kind of what the NHL is struggling to do here over the past 2 years, just trying to figure out what they want and what they don't want out of this new age NHL with all the skill, the Connor McDavids of the world, and trying to figure out what they're doing there. But right, that's the other side too. The coaches are kind of stuck in the old ways of the NHL to some degree too. Some teams still haven't fully embraced analytics and winning that way, and I think there will be a lot of intrigue with this NHL over the next 5 years once the salary cap starts upping itself here naturally as things go along. But just to touch on the game, we're back to action here, and the shot from Tanev gets blocked in front. He falls down. Matthews will go wide. The puck hops on Nylander, who goes trying to get in front to Bunting. He can't do it. Bunting will go back to the blue line now, and this one will be played back down, and they're looking for something here behind the net of the Leafs, but the Flames able to chop them off the puck and get it going. We got 4:45 to go here in this first period, and it's been one of those where I think I had my assessment all wrong just simply because the Flames showed up on the scoreboard, but you would have liked to see the Leafs, definitely as a Leafs fan, jump all over a tired Calgary team and go to work. And that's not exactly what the Leafs have done. They take a dumb penalty, allow the Flames to score the goal, and then the Flames just make work of it in the offensive zone, find a man open after a missed assignment because of a bobbled puck, and just back in the net, 2-1. Like I said, there is absolutely zero win in this one for me as an Oilers fan, so it's one of those things. We'll see what happens the rest of the way home and make an assessment there. But as it currently stands, right, for Backlund and the Flames, they're trying to do something about it and keep this lead going. And that's really all they can do. Like I said, the ideal is a 7-6 Maple Leafs win. Blow up Matt Murray's stats a little bit. Blow up the Dan Vladar stats quite a bit. And, of course, have the Flames lose. That sounds like a pretty good night at the Saturday hockey game for me on Sportsnet and Hockey Night in Canada, but you're not missing much.
No, I think Backlund just got a penalty.
Oh. Oh my goodness, am I ever tired? I don't know if I'm going to make it through this whole stream. I don't even know if I'm going to make it through the first period. Cross check coming up again. The Flames' fourth penalty of the period. That's not so good.
No, that one was unnecessary too. Keep see one of the comments?
No.
Troy, live streaming a Flames game, eh?
Oh, what the hell's Troy doing in here? Frig. He busted me. I came home. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I made her home. I guess that's what I mean. Never really. I never let him know that I made it home. I just never went back to the house because I didn't have pills in the car. Yeah, live streaming a Flames game. It's a lowly Saturday night.
Yeah, the Oilers don't play till Tuesday or something.
Good. Oh my goodness. I need a break. I need a
Oh,
break.
and Nylander will go down the right side and snipe it. Did Marner get a tip on that?
Oh, come on. Come on,
Oh,
let's
that was
go.
a pretty nice snipe.
Come on, let's get this going. All right.
Again, an undisciplined penalty to Calgary comes and bites them.
Yeah. Let's see what happens
Marner
here.
to Nylander.
Marner.
Okay, yeah, Marner got
Oh,
a secondary assist on that.
beauty.
That was a
Marner's
nice
point
shot.
streak extends. You like to see it. Sorry, this
5-0.
I hate this delay because I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I start seeing the start of what you started about 2 sentences ago. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what the heck's going on? And then all of a sudden I watch it happen. Yeah, that's okay. Marner does get a secondary assist on that, and then just snaps it through Vladar. 2-2. The offensive showing up here in this first period. And I mean, again, I think it's just undisciplined on both teams, leading to at least a goal each way. But um, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in this one the rest of the way home. I mean, like I said, I was egging on the 7-6 game, but I really didn't expect that to happen. And now suddenly we are pretty much, what, a third of the way there for each team.
Well, exactly. And we have 4 goals on 13 shots.
Oof. Goaltending? What's that? Oh, by the way, Matt Murray's got a 600 save percentage.
Yeah.
You just love to see it. 2:23 to
Like,
go here in this first period.
no, it's just one of those things, too, that, goaltending. Oh, Simmons pushing in. It's goaltending in a sense for both teams is struggling this game. But Calgary, 4 penalties.
Yeah.
Yes, one was neglected by Simmons' penalty, so it's technically 4-1. But you can't give. Oh, they're giving a standing ovation for something.
Uh-oh.
I think for Mitch Marner.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't keep giving this power play opportunities. We see it with Edmonton. I personally believe the ref stopped calling penalties halfway through so Edmonton's power play doesn't change the game and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the same with the Leafs. The Leafs have a really good power play that Calgary needs to become disciplined. And that's something Daryl Sutter is going to say.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't care who the coach is. I don't care who the team is. You give up 4 minor penalties in the first period, and 2 of them lead to goals. It's unacceptable at any level of hockey. And right now for the Flames, you just can't be doing it on the back of back. And that's exactly what they've done here. They're just lucky they've had a couple of good shots on net to break through and put 2 to tie this hockey game up. I mean, you almost think the way that it's gone, right? The Leafs power play is world beater this game, but it's realistically the Flames um, just not being disciplined enough to win a hockey game. I mean, 2 good shots from the Flames would be enough to put them up 2-0 right now had their discipline been there all period. And I
Well,
mean, for the Leafs
exactly.
too, they'd only be down 1-0 realistically if they didn't take that dumb Simmons penalty.
Well, if he doesn't take a penalty there, this game could be 3-1.
This game could probably be 3-0, 4-0. That's the stupid part about how this first period's played out. Is it's just one of those things for both teams. A million little mistakes have just added up to a game that realistically is nothing like it should be for either side.
Well, exactly. You said it best.
I mean,
27 games with a point this season leads NHL for Mitch Marner.
geez.
And there's a guy eating a grilled cheese or something right behind Sheldon Keefe when they zoomed
Yeah,
in there.
I saw that guy sit down with that. I thought it was French toast.
Oh, maybe. It looked like a sandwich. I don't know.
Longest point streaks among active skaters, 22 games for Mitch Marner. Yikes. Guy's been all over the spreadsheet this year.
He's good.
Where's this guy? Oh yeah, that guy's just mowing on that cheese sandwich there, eh? Just really enjoying it. He's got a bowl for a grilled cheese. Sure, I hope he at least has fries or something because that does not make much sense. But for the Leafs, I guess I guess you could be much worse off, I guess, realistically, because you're tied 2-2 after one period of play or just thereabout. But for the Flames, this is about as best as you could have expected, and they're pretty happy to be right where they are, I'd assume, other than
Yeah.
the discipline
And
issues.
we just saw 3 shots and no goals for the first time in this game.
13 straight
As
games without a point, with a point. Sorry. But, yeah, no, 7 seconds to go, and oh, there's a shot at the side of the net, and yeah, that's it for the period. So Leafs and Flames pretty much done here. I'm gonna go upstairs and grab something to eat. I am starving, and I need to
go
reevaluate
for
if
it.
I'm going for this second period or not because I need to figure out when supper is, and I gotta eat, and I am probably going to bed to be quite honest with you. But I'll be right back.
I don't think you're going to bed. As we got the intermission here, yeah, like Dolynny TV said himself, this game's been up and downs. This game could also be 3-0 Leafs, 3-1 Leafs, 1-0 Leafs. Calgary needs to become more disciplined in this game for sure. That being said, refs nowadays like to call anything and everything. The littlest of hooks get called, the littlest of slashes get called, everything and everything from all of that gets called, and we are just starting the first intermission. We'll see how far Dolynny TV wants to go with this tonight. It was his idea to actually do this, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. We're trying to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers by the World Juniors. That will be live stream on here, Dolynny TV, and Clemhawks as well. My beard looks pretty good on there. As let's see what we're doing here. The wife, nothing important. She's downstairs. That's all good. As we are just watching a bunch of commercials, and we'll talk about what they're saying during the intermission about both teams. Check in with around the scores of the league. Let's do that while we got a chance. As we'll load up Sportsnet here on the old cellular device. 2-0 Kings over the Montreal Canadiens after the first goal scorers there. Anze Kopitar from Fiala and Victor Arvidsson from Mickey Anderson and Philip Deneau, the ex-Montreal Canadian, getting on the board there. 2-0. And that was only 19 seconds apart that happened for LA. Penguins at Sabres, end of the first. It's 2-0 Penguins over the Buffalo Sabres. Ricard Raquel with a power play goal from Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. And then Sidney Crosby from Jake Getzel and Brian Dumoulin. Only 2.5 minutes later, that game is at 2-0. Hurricanes Islanders 0-0 halfway through the first. With the Wild and Canucks later tonight. That might be on Clemhawk. Stay tuned for that at 8 o'clock. Games that finish today, Panthers lose to the Lightning 4-1. Goal scorers in that game were Pat Maroon with his first of the season from Sorelli and Cal Foote. Then Zach Dalpe from Josh Mahura and Eric Stahl. And in the third period, the Tampa Bay Lightning came out. Braden Point with his 14th from Kucherov and Hagel. Mikhail Sergachev from Cal Foote and Nemestikov. And Stamkos with his 15th from Killorn and Nicholas Paul to give the Lightning the win there 4-1. Dallas, Detroit, 3-2 overtime win for the Dallas Stars as Dylan Larkin scores from Austin Sarzik. Dennis Gurionov, his second from Mason Marshman and Tyler Sagan. Jamie Benn on the power play from Jason Robertson and Miro Heiskanen. David Perron from Ben Sherratt and Mort Sider. And Nils Lundqvist, the newly acquired this season, scores the overtime winner with 31 seconds left from Mason Marshman in that game. Ottawa Predators 3-2 win for Ottawa as Trennan from Jankowski and Yarnot. Claude Giroux, his 12th of the season on the power play from Derek Brassard and Shane Pinto. Alex DeBrincat, his 7th of the season from Shane Pinto and Drake Batherson. And Drake Batherson with his 7th on the power play from Brady Tkachuk. And Nino Niederreiter, his 10th of the season from Roman Josi and Ryan Johansson. And that's the scores around the league right now. This game is 2-2 at the end of the first between Calgary and Toronto, with Austin Matthews on the power play from William Nylander and Rasmus Sandin. And then on the 4-on-4, Noah Hannafin from Huberdeau and Lindholm. Kadri would get his team leading 11th goal of the season from Dubé and Mangiapane. And William Nylander will score on the power play from Sandin and Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner extending his goal scoring streak even farther now from what it was before. Marner's just having a phenomenal season. Good on him, seeing that go there for him. So we got 5 of you in here. Welcome in. If you're new to the channel, the blank screen on the left-hand side of your screen there, that's Dolynny TV. I'm Gilles TV. Thank you guys for tuning in. 2-2 at the end of the first. You know, this game could easily be 3-0 Leafs, 2-0 Calgary. It's been a back and forth. A lot of undisciplined penalties by the Calgary Flames this game has cost them, as the Toronto Maple Leafs are 2 for 3 on the power play tonight after the first. 3 of those penalties coming in the first 9 minutes of the game. Vladar has kept Calgary in it for sure. There's been a lot of scoring chances both ways. But we have 4 goals on 15 shots in after the first period. Now we got Kevin Biesca talking about some kind of board thing. Who knows? But if you're new to the channel and want to keep up on the World Juniors as well, we'll be live streaming those games. I believe they start at 11 and the last game's at 4, so something like that, starting Boxing Day. You know, Canada looking to do what they can do there. Americans trying to make sure Canada doesn't do that, and all the other teams involved, as well as that is from Halifax this year. 6 of you in here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated, as we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, as we're just in the intermission. So it's a lot of rambling on. What about Tage Thompson the other night? 4 goals in the first period, ends the night with, I believe, five goals and an assist or something. That is insane by Tage Thompson, and I'm kind of kicking myself. I had him in fantasy, dropped him a few weeks back, and now he's on the tear again. They're talking about breaking records. Records should be broken. That is a possibility with a lot of how the NHL is going this year. You know, with all the scoring that's going on, goalie equipment still being as safe as they can be, but slimming down in size. We've seen a lot of goalies struggle. Vasilevsky for sure has been one of the ones struggling, who actually has come back a little bit, but that is so forth and so on. Let's see how the stream's doing today, as we're up to 365 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. Greatly appreciated. This is kind of my side gig, having 3 kids, it's cost a little bit. But they're doing to the point still, and just the blah blah blahs of the intermission. I was gonna bring that up, Robert, but I was like, we'll probably stick with that
All right.
and whatnot. Dolynny TV is back.
Oh,
We're up to 365.
holy crap. All right. We're having a successful little live stream right here.
And Robert, can I still call you Robert? Is that okay?
I don't know. We'll figure it
You
out.
can answer that. I said, by the way, does anyone realize Nylander has more goals than Austin Matthews right now?
I mean, I don't know how many goals Austin Matthews has to begin with, so.
Well, Nylander scored his team leading 16th
Oh,
tonight, so he was under 16.
okay. But, yeah, I'm going to dip after the second period.
Of course you are.
Yep.
Why? Where are you going?
Back to Crossfield.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. 100%.
Can't believe you.
Hey, my mind wasn't made up, but I made
You're
it up
going there
close to me.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why waste the gas?
Well, no, I'll just spend the night. Aha. Yes, sir.
I see how it is, ditching us.
Hey.
Had all this weekend planned, and
Yep.
now you're ditching me.
Well, I went upstairs and supper was already in the process. Sorry, I thought supper wasn't going to start till like 7 o'clock tonight, so I thought we had all the time in the world, but.
Who is she?
What?
One of the comments, who is she? We're just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to answer that part.
Alright. Sure. Oh, okay, I get it in the context now. What? No, she's poker night with the boys, and I might starting the day. I thought there was only brunch to be had, but I may not have been aware that. Oh yeah, today was also poker day, and now that supper's a little bit faster in production. Like I thought I'd go upstairs and it would be dead upstairs, but there's actual action happening in the kitchen upstairs. So we're just gonna finish this second period and go eat and call her a night. Cause yeah, I don't know. E tough one.
I do have to go wake Rose up. I'll be right back.
All right. So you got a period to ask me questions, I guess you could say, and that's where we'll leave it at that. We're just gonna carry on with the old Saturday night. Let's see what else we got going here on Gilles TV so far tonight. 364, 365. Come on now. Tell me what's up. We'll quickly calculate up the watch time. You know, if you watch Dolynny TV, how much I love my watch time, that's for sure. But the old internet, she's loading real slow out here in the rules tonight. But yeah, no, pretty decent little hour last hour. Staying on pace with a view a minute this hour for Mr. Gilles TV here. And now we lost a subscriber. Somebody just had to hit that unsubscribe button. That's unfortunate. It is what it is, though. And with that watch time, we're sitting. Where are we sitting with that watch time, Mr. Gilles TV? How about this?
I don't know.
64 views, 3.25 hour or minutes watched. Times 64 divided by 60. Ooh, yeah, 3.5 hours watched. Don't mind me.
Nice.
So we can work with that all night. Yeah, no, I think biggest thing here is just next period's a big period for both the Leafs and Flames. I don't know if anyone's going to be out of this hockey game tonight, to be honest with you.
Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if Murray keeps that 600 save percentage.
Yeah, that's
6 points it's at now.
yeah. It's,
We went over the NHL games today while you were upstairs.
okay.
So that's done, and therefore
Now, like I said, I don't really pay attention to things because I simply just do not have the time of day. Like, I don't even know if I've missed something when it comes to the Oilers. I've been checking Twitter here periodically, but I don't think I've missed anything as of yet. It's just been a pretty quiet day so far. Um, oh, look
We
at
got
that.
6 people in here.
Oilers Nation just signed another talent, and looks like Nathan Gravita is filling in for Steve Dangle on the broadcast tonight. So that's more or less who you're watching on the big stream tonight. You're watching here on Gilles TV though. You can have a lot of fun. And yeah, no, what? So yeah,
You're out of it. You sure
yeah,
you should drive?
no, I was right alive upstairs. I've got a little fireplace back here, and the problem is I've got a light right here, and then the TV and my computer, and then there's a blue light on my webcam, and my eyes are just going buggy because of it.
Yeah.
I was right alive
Well,
upstairs, but
7 of you guys in here. If you guys don't mind hitting that subscribe button, that like button, that'd be greatly appreciated.
what do you do?
We will be live streaming the World Series, the World Juniors. The World Series was on Clemhawks. World Juniors. Hopefully Canada can go all the way this year.
Canada is going all the way if you watched Dolynny TV.
8 of you in here now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are just in the intermission here. Montreal losing 2-0 to LA right now.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
That's a rough go if you're Montreal, or even rougher go if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan. That's the problem there. But yeah, no, I guess the big thing is like I talk about not knowing what's going on. Give me a second. What's like? Can I check the standings here and see what's actually going on? Because that'd be kind of handy. Should probably check those and find out what's going on with the NHL standings. 'Cause like I said, I'm not very familiar with what's actually been happening around the Oilers. Because it's been one of those things right now where work is very busy, and obviously it's getting to be the holiday season. The Oilers currently in fifth in the Western Conference. Nobody would tell you that based on how they're playing, but they've got 32 points and they're only 2 points behind Seattle for fourth.
Yeah,
Okay.
it like I said, they've turned it around here last little bit, but what you can speculate, oh, what if the Oilers or the Maple Leafs or the Flames were doing this better?
Yeah.
Could change a lot of things, right? It's a sport. It's 82 games. One, it doesn't matter how you play. It matters when you get that X right by your name that you've made the playoffs before the season starts.
Yep. Well, the Oilers are comfortably in a playoff spot right now by about 4 points. And I think that game against Minnesota was actually a very huge game for the Oilers because they would have been right neck and neck with Minnesota for a playoff spot had they not won. Instead, they're 32 points. They're 1.0 to second in the Pacific. And if this is kind of going to be the ascension that they need, right? They've got a +5 goal differential. They're going to start putting things together. Don't mind me at all, but we'll focus back in on this game where the Toronto Maple Leafs are going
How
for
about
win number 18 of the season here.
how about that stat that's going to come up on your screen? Most goals on a Saturday night.
Elias Lindholm, Leon Draisaitl. Yeah, I mean that's Austin Matthews, right? Primetime performers, and I think the biggest thing the NHL bills in Canada is the Saturday night. And you look at all those guys; they're all right there, Canadian contingent, right? And
Yeah,
I think too that is also, like I said, Canada promotes the Saturday night game a lot more in the States, so that's kind of also where you'd see those kind of guys show up on Saturday nights a lot more than say anyone else.
that's true for sure.
All right, well, we're ready for the second period here. Shots are 9-6, and there's 4 goals in the game on 15 shots. Excuse me?
Well, uh, so the goals for the over under went from 6.5 to 8.5
Oh, wow. That's
from
crazy.
beginning of the game to after the first.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I really care for them having betting lines on like how they do it.
It's all It's all one of those things, grab the money because it's available, right? And that's kind of the way the world works. And right now, with the legalization of the betting odds and stuff, it's just something that's going to be shoved down our throat until they shove something else down our throat with how to watch and enjoy sports. And obviously, right, is like
Yeah.
Sportsnet tried to shove the whole watch with this star player cam and all that under our viewing eyes for years, and then now it's all of a sudden this the big push. So I don't know.
Well, one thing I would like to see more of, it's actually really common in the ML or getting more common in the MLB and a lot in the CFL with TSN is the players mic'd up.
Well, and that's something you see in the States all the time for NHL coverage, but you don't really have much of that here in Canada for some reason. Like I know they always have bench interviews. They usually have a guy mic'd up during the game on ESPN nights and stuff like that, but you don't see much of that here in Canada, that's for sure.
No, it'd be something to bring the fans more into the game too, right?
Wow, what a play by
Like,
Murray. Oh, that's going to lead that's a shot on goal. That's a shot on goal. Murray all the
yeah,
way out of his crease.
at like the hash marks gets a
Yeah.
save.
Okay.
No, but that's one thing. Like you said, a lot of fans disengage when it's a low scoring game, 2-1, 3-0. A lot of fans do disengage, and having that interaction with the players, just hearing what goes through the game. Like we went to that home opener, we heard a lot of things. We heard Darnell Nurse yelling at the refs and whatnot. Bring that to the TV scene. That will attract more people too.
Well, and I think it's just CRTC regulations that Sportsnet has to contend with in terms of that. But end of the day is I think anything the NHL can do to bring fans closer to the game is going to expand the reach of the game 10 times out of 10. And I think one thing that the NHL is missing is just figuring out how to monetize broadcasting the games freely, if that makes sense. And that's
Yeah.
where obviously you don't want pay-per-views and stuff, but when the NHL does that kind of thing, like single day passes by the broadcasters and stuff doesn't seem to work. But at the end of the day, is there's going to have to be some kind of massive shift in the broadcast landscape for the NHL to really long term grow the game the way they're pushing the game, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And you've got players like Connor Bedard coming up, and the players will always sell the game most of the time, but I guess what does the NHL do to continue innovating the experience watching the game is the question.
Oh, exactly. And for the longest time, early 2000s, even in the 80s, 90s, a lot of fans would love to see fights. And we talked about how fighting's kind of getting out of the game. It's more of a skilled speed game now. And those type of players aren't really around. Yes, you still got Zach Kassian, you got Wayne Simmons, Rudzika can fight if he needs to, but it's not part of the game anymore. And to have interactions with the players, I understand it's a lot harder than like the MLB where they could take the pitcher, talk to him for 5 minutes while their team's batting. I get
Yeah.
that. So it is harder, but they need to do something, someone mic'd up or whatnot. Not every game, but have that interaction with the fans.
I mean, too, they've now started broadcasting games live on Amazon Prime freely in Canada on Saturdays. That's part of some new deal package thing they got going on. I think it is still the Sportsnet feed, but it's it's going to be interesting to see what the NHL does as a whole to innovate. Obviously, they got their TV contract they wanted in the States, but at some point that'll expire in the future, and I would not be surprised to see it be a fully digital streaming platform here soon. And it's just a matter of when that comes as opposed to if that comes. And I don't know how that's all going to work out. Obviously, if I had that vision, I would still be working in broadcast media as opposed to sitting on a live stream in the middle of December 2022 talking about the Flames and Leafs to 10 or 15 people on the internet at a time.
Yeah. But
So,
anyway, the game so far. Oh, there's a turnover by Marner in the slot. Zadorov with the shot saved by Murray. Action's starting to pick up this game.
And that's to say we had 4 goals in the first period. That's the
Yeah,
crazy part.
that's
Is
true.
it's I mean it's one of those things, right? Is like even in a game it can still be lifeless despite pucks going in the net, and it's kind of been the story of this one. A couple bad decisions by each team to take bad penalties and a couple good shots, and it leads to 4 goals in the column, and that's kind of where we're sitting after 1.5 periods of play right now. Anyway,
Yeah, for sure.
um,
Kadri with the face-off win. Puck staying in front of the net, and Murray pokes it to the corner. Pretty good play there by Murray. I know I'm ahead of you. My bad.
no, it's all good.
Oh, here comes Kadri. We should have took the shot. He tried to make a nice play out of nothing there.
Oh, look at you go. You got
Well,
4.2 hours. Oh, 4.2 hours on the stream so far.
there we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing the World Juniors.
Yeah, it's more or less just a tester. See
Yeah.
how it goes, kind of deal.
Maybe I'll start doing more live stream games here coming up.
Might as well.
Well, I got the time too. We were
84.
supposed to do another one at 8.
Yeah, well, I
I'm
mean,
just messing with you.
I know. I like to complain about not getting out of the basement all the time and then never leave the basement. So I got a chance to do it tonight. And like I said, if dinner hadn't been ready when it was going to be ready, like I think it's ready now. So it's just one of those things. Take my opportunities where I get them. We got 15 minutes to go here in this second period. I'd like to see us hit 100 views on the stream and potentially finish this one up with 150, but right now, like this game's 2-2, 11-10 the shots. Neither team really going out there and earning it. Kind of just taking advantage of each other being stupid out there, kind of deal.
Oh, exactly. It's the careless plays have led to the goals. When each team's playing their game, it's led to nothing.
Pretty much. I mean, the Leafs walked around in the first part of that first period. The first 2 minutes all belonged to the Leafs. They really couldn't solve much out of it, and now still they haven't solved much out of this hockey game as of yet. It's still only 2-2, and the Flames, despite playing last night, have been good enough through 25 minutes to be tied with the Toronto Maple Leafs team that is the third best in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an icing there on Calgary, as we're saying they're playing good. They iced the puck.
It's just
One
error.
thing I would like to see from Calgary is, they got the big bodies. Zadora's pretty big. Rudzika, he's a big guy. Lucic, Coleman's pretty physical for being a smaller dude. Get in on the forecheck, bang some bodies around. There was one hit there late on TJ Brody by, I think, Zadora. Get in there. They're going to start. Oh, no, Bunting almost had a breakaway. But get in there, start doing that stuff. The defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs will start passing the puck faster because they don't want to get hit. They don't want to be on the ice the whole time.
Well, that's it's one thing I think the NHL kind of has started lacking a little bit is that take it to the other team nastiness that makes hockey a successful sport to play, right? Is you don't have to fight, you don't have to get outgoing. And I think teams and a lot of NHL players are scared to throw that hit because they feel they will have to fight, and a lot of players don't have that in their game to give when it comes to, man, if I have to step up to the consequences of trying to push the limits of this hit, I really don't want to face that, and I think a lot of players back down. Obviously, there is something to be said for taking the risky plays out of the game and just avoiding that altogether, but when it leads to teams not being able to play to an identity, that's kind of part and parcel of where's the NHL headed, right?
Well, and one thing I always like to bring up as Toronto's coming into Calgary zone is you look at that Labuskin hit on Dylan Holloway. That was a clean NHL hit. Do we see those much anymore?
No, and that's
Cronwall was phenomenal for it.
one of those things, right? Who comes in to defend Holloway? In comes Fogel, and I mean, all credit for defending the rookie in that situation. Yes, I understand coming in, but if that's anyone else in the Oilers lineup except for Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, or Dylan Holloway, is somebody coming to rock the gloves off of Lyubushkin? No, and that's one of those things of guys are too scared of that guy coming at them when 9 times out of 10 they aren't going to for that kind of hit.
Oh, exactly. And I know Scott Stevens injured Paul Correa back in the day with a open ice hit, but the NHL, I get it, it's getting more skillful. It's fun to watch. You see Zegras doing it, McDavid night on, night in, and all these guys. But you gotta it's getting kind of soft in my words, as no one really hits anymore. No one fights, no one hits. There's only a select few guys still in the NHL that actually do any of that.
Well, that's the problem, right? The game we grew up on just doesn't exist anymore. And when you kind of shape your hockey education, I guess you could say, as a kid, growing from these players being the most fascinating thing in the world to doing what we've kind of become to do on YouTube over the past few years, is just when the game's unrecognizable from a point of what you learnt off of, that's where it really struggles. And that's a beautiful shot for Dubé, but he can't score that goal. It's tough, right? You just can't seem to really put together a solid kind of, you know what, that was an excellent game. You know what I mean? Like, you can't put together a solid argument. That was a really excellent game from all standpoints. Because your standpoint's always going to include, well, it wasn't physical enough, there wasn't really any emotion, that kind of thing.
No, exactly. As we're in commercial break here, nice save by Vladar on the doorstep there. Could easily be 3-2 Maple
Well,
Leafs.
both goalies have been solid so far. I guess I could say that for sure. And look at that, we're up to 91 views. We are going to do this thing.
We are.
Crazy. But, oh, man, am I ever tired. Tired of looking at screens. You know, if I could live stream with my lights off down here, I think I would be so much better off.
Just have like a light behind you.
Oh, a light in front of me. Yeah, a light in front of me. Kind of
One
shining
of
down.
those TikTok lights
Yeah,
that
pretty
they
much.
have with a circle on.
Yep, that's what I'm going to need to buy. I think that's my Christmas gift to myself this year. So, Kingsway Mall, here we come, December 17th.
16th.
16th? Oh, yeah, I guess the game's on the 17th at 2 p.m. Yikes. But, yeah, that's just where we're sitting right now. And let me see if I can't throw on the stream on my phone. I haven't actually been watching this whole time, so.
Oh, well, we got 3 people in here. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more NHL content, live streams, news, rumors. Very interested to see how this year's trade deadline goes, with a couple big names rumored to be maybe on the move.
I mean, you want to make some views and watch time and subscribers on YouTube, live stream the entire trade deadline. It's a fool's errand to do it, but live stream the whole deadline and watch how well your channel does, my friend. That's something I've never been able to do in my years on YouTube, and it's something maybe this year I might mess around, but I don't think I'm going to get a chance due to how busy we're going to be at work, but it is just what it is, and we'll battle through.
Yeah. As the Leafs have the puck in the Calgary zone here, it's currently 2-2. Hey, we're up to 23 shots now. We've had 8 shots with no goals.
That's a pretty
As
incredible
I
clip
say
for
that
how
in
this game's going.
Carefoot almost scores.
Yep. But
But that's 9 shots now with no goals. So goaltend something must have been said to about the discipline
oh
to
yeah,
Calgary.
there's been a lot less penalties here to begin this second period, and I mean, thankfully we only have 10 minutes to go. I think both teams kind of just trying to get into the late stage of this hockey game and try and win it from there, kind of deal, based on what we've seen in this second period, which is a whole bunch of low event hockey realistically. I don't think we've really had anything too dangerous out of this second period yet, other than that one chance where Matt Murray came flying out of his net, try and stop that one. That was just kind of scrambling around the Leaf zone.
There was a good chance by Toronto there. What's the number one rule when you got the puck in your own end? Do not skate in front of your own goalie. Kadri did that, and the Leafs almost capitalized.
Good save by Vladar to kick out the pads there too, though. It's one of those saves you need your goalie to make the save, and he does. So that's a huge get for the Flames. And Kadri's not impressed with his own effort there. A little upset at somebody as he skates to the bench.
I think he wanted a hooking penalty on that play when he got dragged down.
That could be. That could be. Right now, as it sits, we're just gonna sit here and wait for the teams to do something. I imagine they got to come up and do something at some point here. This has been a, like I said, low event second period so far for both teams.
Yeah, for sure. It's been low event. Goalies have made some nice saves though. Backlund off the crossbar
Ooh.
and shot and scores.
Uh-oh.
I don't know how that went in, but Calgary has regained the lead here. 3-2 in the second.
Conehead.
And it was Lewis coming off the bench and just takes a random shot,
Ouch.
and
Conehead.
Calgary goes up.
Little Conehead.
Little Conehead.
Little Conehead. Hey, Conehead.
That was a rocket by
That was
Lewis.
an absolute gem of a shot. Those are the ones
That
you
was
got to take.
Backlund off the crossbar right to Lewis's stick. How lucky do you have to be in the right spot for that?
I think we watched Trevor Lewis's last goal. I think it was against the LA Kings, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. 6 of you guys in here, welcome in. If you're into anything NHL and enjoy live stream play-by-plays, talking, analysis, whatever we could call this live stream, it's a little bit different than what we normally do. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, as we're trying to go for 1,000 subscribers. And we do have the World Juniors here at the end of the month, as Toronto is taking a penalty in Calgary, who just took the lead. As your cat's playing with your mic.
Yep, he's loving me right now.
Calgary just took the lead. Will be going back on the power play after a hook by Mark Giordano. I believe that was on.
Kitty.
We should be over whatchamacallit now.
Sorry, cat breath. Here, let me ditch the cat.
Oh, good.
Get back to the live stream here. Looks like Conehead's gonna wander away anyway. What are we sitting at? Oh, cat's upset at me.
364.
He's trying to get out of it. Yes, we are up over 104 views on the streams. Let me do some quick calculations for you and see where that's going to sit us after almost 2 periods of play here. I think we've had a pretty successful live stream. I definitely didn't expect it to go this well. Obviously, Clemhawks was a different scenario live streaming on there, but it looks like things are going pretty well here for us. It's 2.7 or 2.8 divided by 60, 4.99 hours. So you're talking legitimately 5 hours on the live stream today. That's a pretty big get when you're trying to get that watch time in a year. It's 4,000, which is 11.33 in a day. And right now, currently crushing off.
Yeah.
Currently crushing off over 5 just alone in this live stream. So can't complain about that. That's for sure.
No, we're in commercial break here. Sorry, the daughter came in and wanted her phone.
That's fine.
Yeah, she has a phone, but it doesn't actually call or anything.
Oh, but it's one of those things right now. I think your biggest battle is, of course, the subscribers and watch time. And I think this live stream's gone a long way in helping that situation out. 365. Again, friends, thanks for joining along here on this crazy YouTube journey that all 3 of us, if you watched Clem and Gilles TV and myself, yeah, thanks for joining along for this. And
Calgary won the draw and has the puck in Toronto. They're Toronto's end.
All right,
They are on the power play.
I'm gonna keep the stream going, but supper is ready, and I'm gonna go to eat it hot and fresh. So enjoy.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Okay.
As Calgary last 3 games are 4 for 14 here on the power play, as they have a 3-2 lead. As Kadri over to Huberdeau, he gets tripped, no penalty coming up. Here's Anderson over to Foley, tipped and off the post by Tyler Toffoli. Here's Lindholm on the left-hand boards to Huberdeau, down to Kadri. It jumps over his stick. He has it behind the net. He'll wrap around the boards to Toffoli, over to Anderson. Glove save by Murray. As welcome into the channel if you're new. Like anything about the NHL, I know if everyone has been hearing that over and over again, but hey, we're trying to grow the channel here, and thank you guys for all your support. As that was tipped off the post. Huberdeau has 2 power play goals this season for the Calgary Flames, and they'll put their second line straight out there, their second power play unit. Here's Phillips, shot blocked by a Leafs defender, and here comes Toronto through the neutral zone. I don't know many of Toronto's players, to be honest, especially their bottom 2 lines. But Calgary has Phillips out there with Hanifin, Radzika. That's all I can see right now. I believe that's Mangiapane out there and Dylan Dubé as well. So here's Hanifin. He's going to drop it off to Radzika. Oh, Zadora's out there instead of Dubé. Okay, that's a weird second power play unit. But there's a shot by Mangiapane and a nice save again by Murray. Here's Hanifin at the point. Over to Radzika. Cross crease to Mangiapane. Back to Hanifin. Back to Mangiapane. And right in the crest of Murray. And he'll hold on to that as there is 11 seconds here in the power play. 3-2 Calgary here. Oh, and that first shot by Mangiapane was off the post, outside of the post. Close, but no cigar there, as Calgary will probably throw their first power play unit back over. As Backlund wins the faceoff, here's Backlund. They'll just throw their third line out there, Backlund, Lewis, and Coleman. Here's Lewis behind the net, up to the point for Tanev. Tanev shoots, blocked, and Toronto will dump it down the ice, and it's not going to be icing. Tanev's back with Nylander all over him. Here comes Backlund through the neutral zone and gives it up to Sandin. Sandin up to Bunting. He does a couple spins to try and get away from Tanev. Out in front, here's Matthews, saved by Vladar, and Calgary pulls it off the blue paint and will send it down the ice. Not enough for icing. Here comes Toronto again. Here's Nylander to Matthews. Matthews shoots, saved by Vladar. Bunting back to Matthews. Up to the point to Timmins. I forgot Timmins is the newest addition. Bunting behind the net, leaves it for Nylander. Nylander on the left-hand boards. Tries to drop it back to Matthews, intercepted by Calgary, and they'll dump it in from center ice. Lindholm on the forecheck. He takes a stumble, and here comes Toronto through the center ice. There's Bunting. He'll dump it in and go for a change, as Matthews will follow suit there. Hanifin takes the puck away. They'll get it to center ice and chip it in, and they'll go for a change here too. 5 minutes left here in the second period. 15-15 are the shots. 3-2 Calgary leads, as Anderson has it behind the net for Toronto. And Calgary will steal that away, and just, again, careless passing by the Calgary Flames to try and get out of their zone, as they will dump it down. Here's Murray. He'll try and send it around the boards. Hits a stanchion, but Simmons is there. Justin Hall tries to jump up. No cigar on that play. As here comes Calgary down the wing. That's Dubé. Dubé's looking for someone. And Tanev just got tripped. No call there on that play. Here's Mangiapane. Back to Dubé. Dubé up to the point to Tanev. Hanifin back to Kadri, and that goes right through him. But Ruzicka gets knocked down. Puck's behind the net. Back up to the point. Here's Backlund. He tries to dangle, and Toronto will just clear it down the ice here as a safe play. 3:45 left to go here in the second period. Here's Zadorov up to Backlund, over to Ruzicka. Back to Backlund, shoots, and blocked by Phillips. Hit his own man. Phillips saved by Murray. Here's Backlund in the corner. Tries to send it to the point. He gives it up. They are going to call that offside. I thought for sure he kept that in, as we got a stoppage and play. High intense game here by the Flames and Maple Leafs as we are going to a break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are up to 365 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. That's greatly appreciated. We do everything NHL on the channel here. Any rumors, news, signings, trades, whatever the whole NHL comes out with, we report it. That's what we do here on the channel, as we're watching a Connor McDavid and Wayne Gretzky commercial here. For BetMGM. Whew, that's a lot. Whew. Let's get going here. Is Will Jr. starting here soon? BMO commercial for sure. So we're waiting for Dolynny TV there on the left-hand side to get back. As there's the tower in Toronto, wrapped in red event from Rogers. All right, here comes Toronto into the Calgary zone. Bunting behind the net. Matthews can't get it. Here comes Calgary out of the own end, but again, a missed pass from the defense to the forwards, and Calgary will just dump in. Here's Lewis on the forecheck. Had that nice go-ahead goal 5 minutes ago, as here's Calgary behind their own net. Sends it in front. Nylander shoots and scores. Alexander Nylander puts it in. And that changed direction, but that's the second goal for Nylander in this game. And it is a 3-3 game here, folks. Vladar had no chance on that. That changed direction, as it was a good... Oh, and it hits Tanev, I believe, and goes straight into the... Is that Bunting or Tanev? Oh, it hits Tanev's chest, I believe, and will go in as Toronto ties it up on Nylander's second goal of the game. It is 3-3 here with 2.5 minutes to go in the second period. Calgary will play it up their own net boards, as that was just another careless pass by the defense to the forwards through the middle of the ice. And that's something they tell you straight from learning how to play hockey. Do not pass in front of your own net. Calgary did that and gets burned, as Zadorov is back, and that's icing on Toronto. If you're new to the channel, like anything NHL, live streams, World Juniors even, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we will be covering all that here myself, Dolynny TV sometimes here. And also, if you're in the MLB aspect of things, go look at Clemhawks. We do all that over there as well. As there's a face off to the right of Murray. Tavares versus Kadri. Kadri wins it. Here's Mangiapane shoots, and somehow Murray's inside his own net, but made the save. And here's Tavares up to Killigren. I think that was. I'm not too sure who that is for Toronto, but he got saved on the breakaway. Here's Kadri coming out. He'll just dump it in on Murray, and Murray will hold it and get some snow to the face by Kadri. As there was a cat, I believe, on Yak's side of things, Dolynny TV. As that was a nice save by Vladar, but what a pass by Tavares to find Mulligan. Mulligan. That's who it is. If you're new to the channel, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. I'm supposed to have a partner here on your left. You keep seeing his cat. But he went to eat, and we're probably going to be done here after the second period. But Toronto wins the faceoff. They'll send it to the neutral zone and dump it in as they're in on the forecheck. I believe that's Anderson over there. Nope, Zach Aston Reese. I forgot he signed there. As well as Camp's in there as well. They'll swing it back to the point for Hall. Hall back down to Zach Aston Reese. Up to Camp. Into the slot, and Toronto could not get a shot off. Zach Aston Reese holds in, shoots, and Camp just misses the tip on that. Toronto's buzzing right now with a minute 12 left to go in the period, and the puck goes out. As here comes Mulligan again, try to dump and chase. Tanev off the boards, that stays in. That hit an extension and centered by the Leafs, taking away. Here comes Calgary 3-on-2. And Zadorov just misses the net there on that play. Here's David Kampf up to Nylander, who has 2 goals in this game. A huge tying goal about a minute and a half ago, as they'll just dump in, and Calgary has it in the neutral zone. Here comes Radzika up to Phillips, and he just can't get that, and Toronto will push it out to the neutral zone and play it back in with a high stick from Calgary. That will be a whistle. 19 seconds left here in the second period. 3-3 Calgary, Toronto. It's been a game of, I don't even know what to call this game. It's been high intense for plays on end here. Huberdeau, 10 goals, 20 points in the last 13 games versus the Maple Leafs. Zadora wins the faceoff back. Tanev will throw it in. I've just been doing play-by-play.
Hey, practice up. World Juniors are coming.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Huberdeau has 1 goal and 8 points in his last 8 games for Calgary.
Not bad.
Nylander scores his second of the game to make it 3-3 about 2 minutes ago.
Okay. And we are pretty
So
much done
Liljegren,
the second period.
huh?
We're pretty much done the second period.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Bunting will just dump it down, and Zadorov will just hold it behind his net, let time run out. And that will do it for your second period. Not 4 goals. It was 2 goals, but pretty good, intense game, I would say.
All right, well, you gonna let me head out and do my Saturday night now that I'm all ready to go?
Now, we got second intermission to do still.
Oh no, I gotta head out. Poker starts at 7. I want to be there by 8.
So I could be there in about 2 hours.
All right, well, giddy up then.
Are you serious?
No, don't.
Is that at Tron's house? He wouldn't mind if it was at Tron's.
I need to get details yet. So, anyway, friends, thanks so much for tuning in. Gilles TV, I know you really appreciate everybody tuning in this evening. One last message to everybody before they head out.
Hey, if you're new to the channel, like anything or NHL, subscribe to the channel. We do live streams, everything here. And if you're in the MLB aspect, head over to Clemhawks. And if you're an Oilers fan, follow this guy on the left of your screen. Dolynny TV covers anything Oilers news. Thank you guys.